What's up everyone and welcome to another Mass Effect 3 character overview. This time I'm featuring the N7 Demolisher of the Earth DLC. The Demolisher is definitely a helpful class to play as, and being an engineer, she's intended to be a support type class character, but when you actually use her in the game, you're going to be using her a lot like you would a soldier. And that's because she doesn't really have many tech powers to use, so the only tech power she really has that has a recharge time is the supply pylon, and the others are just grenades. So you don't need to worry too much about your weapon weights, and because of that, you can choose whichever heavy weapons that you want. But anyways, let's get to an overview of the Demolisher's abilities. Now the first ability and the only rechargeable tech power for the N7 Demolisher is the supply pylon. It has multiple effects when you're within the pylon's radius. It supplies ammo at regular intervals, and also grenades at slightly longer intervals, and it also increases your max shield. Also, when you upgrade it, you can either choose to have it increase weapon damage or increase power damage. Now all of these effects make the supply pylon the ideal tool to hold out a defensible position. So whenever you're playing as a Demolisher, you want to, at the beginning of the round, find a good defensible position on somewhere on the map for you and your team. And that position can either be in a small room where you and your teammates can hold out, or near an objective that you need to complete. So, for example, like an upload objective or something like that. What makes the pylon so useful is that you can hold that position however long you want, since you no longer have to rely on going to some ammo cache somewhere on the map, because you can just get ammo from where you're at right now, and so you don't have to endanger yourself just trying to get some ammo when you're running out. And even if you can't find the best position where there's a lot of cover, you can easily just put it out in the open, and the supply pylon will still be helpful because it gives a maximum shield bonus of potentially up to 50% when it's upgraded, and that can help you a lot out in sticky situations. And it's especially useful for higher difficulties like gold and platinum, especially if your squad mates aren't too high of a N7 level, where they don't have all the upgraded bonuses and everything, and it can really help them out in defending the position. My personal recommendations as to what perks you should choose with the supply pylon are to increase the pylon's radius so that your teammates can easily use the benefits of the pylon without, say, having to move too much around the cover that you're in, the room that you're defending. And also, I personally like the weapon damage increase perk because I like to use it myself and use it to the benefits of my weapons that I'm using. But if you are in a squad that's full of biotic and tech power users, definitely choose the power damage increase. And definitely choose to increase your max shield by an additional 25% over the perk to increase the max grenade count, because the shield does make a difference. And you could just wait for your grenades to respawn, but the shield does make a difference, and it can stop you from getting knocked out. Now the first grenade for the Demolisher is one that you've seen before, and it's the arc grenade. And you already know that it's effective against shield and also against Geth. Since the arc grenades are a lot faster to use than the homing ones, I often use the arc grenades in much more frequency than the homing grenades. But you should note that both grenades draw from the same pool, so just be mindful of how many grenades you have and resupply. You have to resupply a lot. It shouldn't be too much of a problem if you're holding out with the supply pylon right next to you, but just take note of that. Now homing grenades do more damage than the arc grenades, but as I said, they're slow to use and they take a really long time to travel to the target. But as it's in the name, it is homing, so you can use that to your advantage and use it to curve around corners or around, say, guardian shields. And you can use that to your advantage to actually use the grenade safely from behind cover. Now this is obviously useful against higher level enemies, so you can do some damage to them without having to expose yourself too much. So you'll often see me using them against those, or against just regular enemies who are hard to get and are behind cover, and I can use the homing grenade to curve around their cover to get them. All in all, you're going to be spamming your grenades like crazy during any of your matches, so either increase your grenade count through some of the perks that you can choose while upgrading your character, or just stick yourself close to an ammo cache or your supply pylon, or both. That's the most ideal thing, and just spam them like crazy. Compared to all the enemy factions, the Demolisher probably does the best against the Geth, and that's mostly just because of the power of the arc grenade, since it does so well against Geth enemies. You do still need to be careful of the Geth hunters, because especially if you're defending in a rather open position, they can sneak up on you if you're not too careful, and that's where the extra shield from the pylon comes into play, because it can save your life if you're getting attacked from behind from a hunter, and it can just give you that extra shield so that you can easily just turn around and react as best you can. And if you are somehow ambushed by like a squadron of Geth hunters, just start spamming your arc grenades and you should be fine. Reapers can be kind of tricky too, especially with the Banshees just going up into your face, and they can easily just barge into your to where you're defending. So you just got to be careful of that. And if they do, if like a Banshee does get into where your position is, where you're defending, just use the arc grenades to take out their barrier first, and then start spamming the homing grenades if you still have them, and you should be fine for the most part. But just be prepared to move if this gets too overwhelming, and just set your supply pylon from the next position that you can get to give that extra boost in the fight. Now among the Cerberus, the only one that you really need to worry about is the Phantom, because the Phantom likes to get up into your face and barge into your position. So you just need to be careful of that. That's where the max shield does help. And actually use the homing grenade against the Phantom, because it has the possibility, because they will try to dodge the grenade, of course, but the explosion radius can catch the Phantom, and that'll definitely help you out. And the rest of the Cerberus troops shouldn't give you too much trouble. If you're faced with a Guardian, just use the homing grenade to curve around their shields, like I said earlier, and that should take them out in possibly one hit. So anyways, the N7 Demolisher is a really helpful class to play as. You'll definitely want to either play as one or have one on your team whenever you do one of the higher difficulties, because it just makes holding out against the onslaught of enemies that much easier when you don't really have to run to a supply cache to refill your ammo or anything like that. So it definitely does help. If you have one on your team, you are very likely to have a successful extraction. And speaking of extraction, if your team decides not to do the last minute run to the extraction point approach and just decides to go to the extraction point from the beginning, just follow them and lay down your supply pylon at the extraction point to help them out, and you should be able to survive the 2 minutes, and you'll have a successful extraction. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.